Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bets. I am Tike, joined as always by Mama Mia. So we've got just a couple things we're going to be talking through on today's video. We're going to give a quick recap to our Thursday night picks, which was the AFC West divisional matchup, 49ers versus the Rams. Mama Mia called that one correctly. She had the 49ers to cover. I thought the Saints were going to blow them out of the water with all the injuries, so kudos, Mama. So we'll be talking through our recap for the Thursday games, and then we're going to be jumping right into Sunday, Week 5. We've got some great games happening today. So, Mama Mia, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your recap for Thursday?
Hello, everybody. Okay, week 5. Well, Thursday night, I did okay. I picked Fred Warner, the linebacker on San Francisco, to have a big night. He did have a big night, but he didn't really under or overperform. He was projected for 9.3 fantasy points, and he got 9.5. He had 12 tackles. He was where the ball was, like I said he would be. So he played very well. And boy, that was just a shocking game. I think the kicker on the Rams is maybe in the doghouse with McVay. So the other pick that I had was I was looking for Devontae Adams to have the game of his life. He is such an unselfish player. He was always blocking downfield. He was making those plays happen. He caught 5 of 11 for 88 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, so his 4-touchdown streak has been broken, and he actually underperformed. So maybe I did 50-50, probably 66% no good, because I don't know, Fred Warner, he didn't have a breakout game, but he did well. How about you, Tyke? What did you end up with?
So my first player I picked as the overperformer, Jake Tongues. He was projected to have 25 receiving yards. He ended with 40 receiving yards, 7 receptions, and a touchdown. So he overperformed. And then I also picked defensive player Jared Verse. Jared Verse was projected 4.3 fantasy points. He was projected 2.5 tackles and half a sack. He did not have a sack, however. He had 4 solo tackles and 2 assist tackles. He ended with 7 fantasy points. So he did overperform. I would have liked to have had a sack. That's really why I was picking him, was the pressure. But I'll take it. He got it done on the other side of the board. All right, so let's move right into Sunday, Week 5, NFL. This is where teams really show what they're made. Bye weeks are starting to begin for fantasy owners as well. This is really where you have to begin managing your rosters. So hopefully some of these players we're going to give out will help you decide who to pick, or who to play, and potentially even who to pick up. So Mama Mia, you want to walk us through what you're thinking, who you're looking at?
Well, the Bears are on a bye this week, so I thought I would pick a couple teams that are not really ever on our radar and don't get any attention. But it could be a very exciting game. They're at the bottom of their divisions, and it's the New York Giants going into the New Orleans Saints. Aints or Saints? Aints. They're Aints lately, 0-4. So my first overperformer is the New York Giants' new quarterback, Jackson Dart. Woo! He is projected to have 16.2 fantasy points. He's averaging 7, but he did better than that last week. He beat the Los Angeles Chargers. Hello, that's a pretty good team. He had 54 yards rushing, and he had 111 yards passing, which his passing percentage was 65%. His 54 yards rushing was 1/3 of the rushing total of the whole team. So he did pretty good. He had 1 pass touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. He looked really electric, and he did get sacked 5 times, but he just popped right back up. New York is they're playing against the Saints, which their defense is a little banged up. They're without two players, and we'll talk about them later. Granderson is the fifth-ranked defensive lineman, and he already has 5 sacks. So I think Jackson might be spitting out a little bit of dirt, but as long as he pops back up, it's good. And he's available in 58% of the ESPN leagues. So, if he can beat the Chargers the way he did. Now, again, the Chargers might have been a trap game where maybe they don't travel well to the East because the game was in New York, but Chargers are a pretty decent team. So, he's going on the road, though, and New Orleans could be a problem for him, but I think he's got some real moxie, and I just like that whole team. I watched that Cam Scatteraboo guy. He's pretty exciting, too. So, what do you got there, Tyke?
So I've got somebody in that same game as well. I'm looking at the Saints running back, Kendre Miller. So I know Alvin Kamara is the guy over there, although I unfortunately am starting to question how long he's going to remain the guy. So last week, Kendre Miller, he took 32% of the rush attempts, which was up from his 16% for the prior games this season. So pretty good snap share increase. He had 11 carries last week as well. So he's seeing a carry increase and a snap count increase. Miller is a little flying under the radar a little bit, in my opinion. He's only projected to have 30 rushing yards in this upcoming game, and he's going up against the Giants defense, who, they are not much better than the Aints. So the Giants defense is allowing the fourth most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs, and they are the fourth worst team in yards before contact. They're allowing 2.51 yards of positive rushing yards before they're initiating contact with opposing running backs. So they're almost giving up 3 yards of rushing before they're even making contact and trying to tackle the guy. Top of that, Kendre Miller, he's looked pretty good when he's gotten the ball. He is actually leading the league in forced missed tackles this season. He is forcing 36% of tackles to miss on him for the year. I'm just factoring that with a poor Giants defense. I could see him, getting some more carries than he's been getting on the prior years or prior games. Seems like a pretty good situation for him against the Giants. So I'm going to take him to overperform over his 30 rushing yards in the game. All right, Mama, who's your next player?
I'm staying with those Giants. I'm also looking with Malik Neighbors out for the season. That there's a couple guys who might be some good picks, some good wide receivers that you can get on the waiver wire. The one I want to key in on is Wan'Dale Robinson. Him and Neighbors have had the same number of receptions through the first 4 games, so that's encouraging. He's caught 18 of 27. He only had 14 yards last week. He caught 3 of 5. He didn't have a touchdown last week, but he has 1 touchdown for the year. He's projected to have 10.1 fantasy points. I see him going over that. I think Jackson Dart, that this might be like a little bit of a shootout here, is going to be throwing the ball maybe. As Wendell was quiet against the Saints, but the Aints aren't that good. So I think he's got some stuff there. And like I said, him and Darius Slayton have to pick up all the passes that would have went to Malik Neighbors. And so far, Wendell has not exceeded 60 yards in a game. I got a feeling this week he's going to pass that mark for sure. So he's my second overperformer in this game. So that's what I'm going to bank on. And what do you have there?
So I'm finally getting us out of the Saints and Giants game. I'm going to talk about a different game, different player. I'm looking at Christian Kirk on the Texans. Going up against the Ravens. Ravens, for pretty formidable defense. However, they are quite banged up. Marlon Humphreys is doubtful, and Kyle Hamilton is also doubtful. So they're not officially ruled out yet at the time this video is being posted. They are doubtful to play. Both of them play on the inside of the defenses. They are typically the two guys that are covering the slot wide receiver. That is where Christian Kirk also plays. Christian Kirk is a slot wide receiver. And then even with Humphreys and Hamilton playing, Baltimore is allowing the fifth most amount of yards per game to slot wide receivers this year. They're allowing 82 yards per game to slot wide receivers. And they're also allowing the fourth most amount of receptions to wide receivers in the slot alignment. So far, they've already allowed 34 receptions to wide receivers playing in the slot. So I'm looking for Christian Kirk. This is his second game back now. Ravens will have to worry about Nico Collins on the outside. So I'm looking for Christian Kirk to exceed and have a pretty good game here. His line, again, flying under the radar, looking at some buy low spots. He's only projected 33 receiving yards. That seems incredibly low to me. I think he can surpass that, especially if you're playing a PPR league. I could see Christian Kirk getting 7, 8, maybe even 10 fantasy points at a real buy low spot if you need somebody to plug in there and play. All right, Momma Mia, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I like that. I think Christian Kirk has good hands. He's always had good hands, and this is what Houston has been waiting for. Well, my last pick is I'm staying with the Saints-Giants game. My underperformer is going to be the Saints D. They're projected to have 12.8 points. They've had 48.5 on the season so far. They're ranked 24th defense in the league. Their last opponent, fair to say, was Buffalo. So they are 0-4. They are missing the defensive lineman Chase Young and cornerback Isaac Yayadon. They're out for this game. They've given up 121 pass points against him so far. They've had 11 sacks, 1 INT, 2 forced fumbles. They're just kind of maybe they're off to a really slow start, but I think Brian Daboll's going to throw the kitchen sink at them. Perhaps the Saints can win, but I do think that new offense with Dart and Scattaboo and I know they're going to be missing Malik, and so that's kind of something. But New Orleans is giving 1.5 points, and I can't imagine. I think Big Blue just wins outright here. I think they're going to win. I'm projecting the score to be a higher scoring game. I'm hoping for 41-35, and I think the Saints are going to go 0-5. So that's my projection on that game. And do you have another players?
I do. So I've got somebody a little bit more on the beaten path, maybe a little bit more of a household name here as well. So I'm going with Garrett Wilson. Taking Garrett Wilson to overperform. The Jets are playing the Cowboys. So Garrett Wilson, he's only expected to have 64 receiving yards. I think he will get 65. Justin Fields is back and playing now. Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson really seem to click together pretty well. And then going up against that atrocious Dallas defense. So Dallas has allowed 309 passing yards per game this year. They've allowed 206 of those yards to wide receivers alone. On top of that, Garrett Wilson is second in the whole NFL in target share. He's getting 33.6% of all passes from the Jets are going to Wilson. So he's getting nearly 1/3 of every pass. And then on top of that, he's 5th in the NFL in air yards. So Justin Fields, when he's throwing it to him, he's not just throwing a bunch of screens. They're taking shots downfield as well as just feeding the ball to Wilson. So Wilson's primary target, He's getting good volume. He's getting actual yards downfield thrown to him. And then on top of that, Garrett Wilson has exceeded 65 receiving yards in 3 out of 4 games this year. So I expect that trend to continue. I think he will have more than 65 yards. I think he'll beat his fantasy projection as well. I don't have that on hand right in front of me, but I would expect, especially PPR, I see Garrett Wilson getting 5, 6 catches and at least those 65 yards. So I think you're good to mark him down for about 11, 12 yards, or points, I should say. And then on top of that, I think maybe somebody else you might want to look at is Justin Fields. A lot of the reasons I just marked above about the Dallas defense just being atrocious. And then on top of that, Eberflus is the Dallas defensive coordinator, Justin Fields' old head coach. Eberflus just played Caleb Williams, his previous head coach. It was like Eberflus never even watched any game tape on Caleb Williams. He was clueless of how to stop him. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just let Justin Fields run for 300 yards because Eberflus is just so incompetent. I don't think he has any way to stop any defense, or let alone players he coached before, which is a little outrageous to me. You would think you would have an idea of their weaknesses, but that's not what we've seen so far. So I'm taking Garrett Wilson, but then I also like Justin Fields to overperform as well.
Good. I hope he does well. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, I've got a couple Justin Fields jerseys, so I hope he does well. All right, so Mom, you're taking the Giants to win outright as the underdogs.
Yes. They're going to win outright. I think it's either going to be a really low scoring game, like maybe 21-24, but I'm really feeling that this one's going to be an exciting game, 41-35, and I think the Giants are going to pull it off. I think Brian Daboll has got the locker room, and everyone is starting to pull their own weight. The defense, they got really good players on the defensive line, so I mean, maybe they could shake, rattle, and roll the rattler there, So I don't know. Let's see how that's going.
All right, so, my final question to you. You've got all the eyes, all the hype on this game. Are you going to watch this game?
I don't know what channel it's on. So I would if I can tune it in. But there are some other awesome games that'll be on. Like Tampa Bay is going into Seattle. Seattle's favored by 3.5. I think Tampa's going to go after them hard, and I got Tampa winning that one. And then this is going to be a crazy game. I think Denver's going to Philadelphia. Is Philadelphia's offense going to get going? That's the question. Philadelphia is favored by 4.5 points. So the prognosticators think that the offense on Philadelphia is going to be just fine, but I don't know. There's some bantering going on there. I gotta think maybe Denver can take advantage of that. We'll see. And I mean, Denver's got a good coach, right?
Sean Payton, not my favorite player or coach, but yeah.
I know he's dead to you.
Yeah. All right, everyone. That's all we've got. Best of luck, Week 5. We will see you back for Week 6.
Go Bears! You're not gonna lose this week.
You're not gonna lose. Bye, everyone.
And go Cubs, go!
Go Cubs, go!
Cubs, go!